Thanks for stopping by. I'm talking a little quietly today because my partner is in the other room asleep because it is currently 1:19 in the morning and it's Friday night or Saturday morning depending on how you look at it, and they have already retired for the evening or morning, and I am just now starting to film for today. So I hope you guys are all having a good day wherever you are. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. It's been a long time. Like a week? Maybe not even quite a whole week, but yeah, actually, yeah, I think it has been about a week since I last was with you guys at the end of August when we did the last couple episodes of the Knit the Family pattern for the knit along, and I told you guys I was going to take a little bit of a break. Work got busy as I predicted it was, and it's still busy, but it's to the point where I think I can manage revving up my filming schedule again to talk with you guys. So I thought I'd start a little easy today just to kind of get back into the swing of things and not actually do a knitting tutorial, though I do have something. If you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I am working on a sock right now, and that'll be coming up with this video channel pretty soon, but I did want to get a little bit more of a start on that before I could actually concentrate on knitting and talking at the same time. So that'll be what I film tomorrow. But for the meantime, yes, if you guys remember, if you're an avid viewer of the Paws and Pearls channel, around early July, I put in testing kits for my cats, Koouji and Kabu, and it took about 9 weeks or so for the results to come in finished, and I got the report. So my partner has been so kind. At their job, they had a bunch of iPads they were decommissioning, and they reformatted one for me so that I can do stuff in here with the iPad instead of draining the battery life on my phone watching videos and perusing different things here. So we have an iPad, and on it I have the reports from Basepaws of Koouji and Kabu. You can probably see their little, if you guys know the movie Pets Life, it was, I think, released 3 years ago or so, maybe 4. It's been a long time, but they had this promo where you could make icons of your pets and the style of the Pet's Life theme. And so here's Koouji, he's gray. Maybe you could see him a little bit. And then Kabu, of course, because she's a tabby up there. And so that's been like my icon for them for various things that I've done where I needed to use their pictures. And yeah, so I just have really cute little icons. But okay, so to give you a premise, so Basepaws is a service. It's kind of like 23andMe or Ancestry, but for cats. And just like the two of those, the data is always changing as more and more cat DNA is submitted to the pool. Then they can broaden the results pool to further fine-tune the results for your pets as the data generates more and more as more submissions come in. So right now I have a base sampling of the DNA of Koouji and Kabu and where they originate from, what their genetic makeup is, any kind of markers to keep track of as far as their health, and different traits that usually are prominent to kind of cue in if they might have some of these, a stronger likelihood of developing certain diseases and different things like that. And so I will say, earlier when I was telling you guys about this, I said I would reveal the results with you together, Later finding out that one, I was going to get an email that the report was done and I wasn't going to get a printout sent to me in the mail or anything fancy. And then two, because the results, I checked them today earlier during my lunch break. I was like very fascinated. I ended up looking at them because I felt like it was more fair to share them first with my partner, because we are co-pet parents of Koouji and Kabu, and I figured, they, even though they were not helping and corralling the two cats to get the samplings, I figured since they do share ownership of them with me, that I would reveal the results with them in a more intimate setting and then explain them with you guys as a whole. So I will say, if you were hoping that I would be very surprised by what we find out together, I'm not going to fake being surprised because I did already see these results, so just so you know. But I'm very excited to see the information grow and develop as more pet parents decide to participate in submitting their cat DNA to Basepaws. I'm not an affiliate or anything, so I don't have any cool promo code, but depending on when this video comes up, they are having a Labor Day sale, and depending on what you like, well, it's probably the algorithm, because I have used my login and stuff to do the Basepaws thing, and I happen to get an ad on Instagram, so I'll link Basepaws below. You can purchase directly from their site, and I believe Chewy, which is a website that I use to purchase my cat's supplies from, their food, litter, and all that stuff. I believe they also sell this product, so I'll link both if you choose one or the other, if you want to. I will say, though, that both Chewy and the Basepaws direct site are part of Ebates, or Rakuten, if you know of the service, and I love using that. Also not sponsored or affiliated, I just love the plugin to get cash back, certain percentage cash back on purchases I make, and because it was expensive, I got a pretty hefty return on buying Basepaws directly from the site during a previous sale that they had, where you could get two as a bundle for a discounted price. So with all of that being said, before I show you the results, if you recall, if you have watched the other videos, I predicted that Koouji was like Maine Coon, some kind of fluffy breed cat, just because he's a fluffy guy. And then I also predicted that Kabu was like some kind of Oriental breed, because, or, not directly, but a strong percentage of her DNA being part of the Oriental breed category, because of her characteristics being very vocal, and those are usually very vocal breeds, and having green eyes, which is also a trait of cats that are from Oriental breeds. But Koouji also has greeny yellow eyes. They both do have greeny yellow eyes, so I guess it's kind of like not quite green, so maybe not. But in the greenish variety, I was like, that's something to consider. So those are my predictions. So let us go with the first kitty on the list, and that's Kabu. So I'll read off the report. So if you're interested in the long end of it, it is the road. There's like a little bit of an introduction here. So, the road to less wild. Simply put, our cats are still a wild little beast. The history of cat domestication is vastly different from the domestication of other companion or agricultural animals. Whereas dogs went through thousands of years of selective breeding for behavioral and physical traits, cats have largely remained similar to their wild ancestors. This is why our home-based felines still have excellent hunting skills, feeding and grooming habits, and the ability to pounce into action at any given moment. So, how exactly did cats become part of human life? The pathway to domestication begins as human agriculture flourished. The rodent population drastically increased with food storage. Cats played their welcomed role as nature's exterminator. Since cats choose to live with us, a systematic breeding program was never imposed on them for traits responsible for cohabitation. Our cats are unique and, in some sense, the only animals known to have domesticated themselves to live with us. And that's not part of the little article here, but a good, I guess, stereotype of like cats being very independent and not needing us because they chose to be with us and not the other way around. I mean, they're like, ooh, mice. I love mice. I'm going to hang out with this human because there's heckin' mice around here. Versus like dogs, we're like, ooh, you hunt well, come with me and help us, track some prey down. Which is kind of cool because we have literally like they always call them house panthers, which panther is just really a name for a big cat. It's not specifically a breed of cat, it's just a cat. So, anyway, house wild cat. So, moving on. Due to this relatively short breeding process, the vast majority of modern cats are the vast majority of modern cats are not the result of intentional breeding, nor have ancestors of a defined breed. Unlike other dogs or human ancestry tests, we cannot make the assumption that your cat was descended from a mixture of pedigree lines since pedigree cats are so new. However, using a large panel of purebred and pedigree cats that we have sequenced, we can try to find parts of your cat's genome that are similar to a known cat breed. 93% of all cats in the world are random breed Moggies, and I believe, Jenny, if you're watching this one, you called your cat a Moggie, or your cats Moggies, and you're the first person I've heard call them that, so it's cool to see that Basepaws is also using that word. This is all we know about them until now. With genetic data, we can learn more about what makes each mixed breed polycat unique. As we gather more purebred data and trait information, we will be able to start narrowing down the parts of the genome that are responsible for certain traits, and thus will continue to explore what makes your polycat unique. So, next to the article, they have this little, I was going to say widget, but this little box talking about breed analysis. So, breed groups. We used high coverage whole genome sequencing pedigree cat data or data. Do you say data or do you say data? I kind of interchange the two. It depends on the flow of the sentence. Data, data, tomato, tomato, whatever. Z, I've heard that. Anyway, we used high coverage wholesome genome sequencing pedigree data to generate what we call a genetic proximity map. This map visualizes the underlying genome differences between known cat breeds. For instance, breeds that are close to each other on the map share a high degree of genetic similarity. In many instances, such breeds are known to have a shared origin. The observed genetic similarity between breeds results in the formation of 4 foundational breed groups: Eastern, Western, Persian, and exotic. The genetic proximity map allows you to see how the breeds closest to your cat relate to other known breeds and breed groups. And then the chromosome map. Cats have 18 autosomal, that's a word I haven't ever said before in my life, and one, okay, so 8, what? Okay, cats have 18 autosomal and 1 sex chromosome pairs. Our genetic analysis looks for regions on your cat's autosomal chromosomes that are most similar to different breed groups and individual cat breeds. We quantified these results, indicating what percentage of your cat's DNA is most similar to each respective breed or breed group. Keep in mind that genome regions showing similarity to a particular breed do not necessarily indicate pedigree ancestry. So here we go. Breed analysis. The chromosome map shows your cat's chromosome pairs and with regions of genetic similarity to different breed groups shown in different colors. Mouse over a specific breed on the left, and you will see which chromosomal regions in your cat are the closest match to this breed. Click on each breed and the breed groups to read more about each breed. You can use the slider below to modify results to reflect different degrees of statistical confidence. Okay, so right now, we have the scale is on possible. So hopefully you guys probably can't see too much, but it's blurry as all get out. But right where my finger is, there's a scale up here that I can move, and it's kind of at possible right here, and then it gets higher and higher this way. So if you see me move it, you see the circle where the cat face is, how it changes when I adjust this. This gives me more and more information on the specific results of Kabu. I think she's the one. Yes, this is Kabu's. So let's keep it at possible and run down what her analysis is. So she is possibly mostly Western, as described above, and the further breakdown and the possible range is Russian Blue at 16.71%, American Shorthair at 11.74%, Ragdoll at 10.18%, Maine Coon at 6.36%, and broadly Western as a whole at 28.3%. In the Eastern category, she's at 8.4. Persian, she is at 4.88%, being Persian at 3.59, and broadly Persian at 1.29, and Polycat at 12.43%, and that's at the possible range. So now let's go to, all of that was very surprising when I looked over that originally, because as I mentioned to you guys before, I was thinking she was going to be more maybe like Eastern area, being maybe some Siamese, maybe some Burman or something like that, or one of those breeds that are very talkative and sleek, because she's my little hoagie sandwich. She's long like a sub sandwich and thin and just very svelte. She's a svelte cat, and even at her tubby tummy days, when she was maybe like 3 years old or so, she was still a pretty petite cat. Like, she had a little bit of a gut, but then we changed the diet and stuff, and she slimmed out again. But yeah, those are possible. And of course, as Basepaws mentions, as more genetic makeups are added to the pool, this is going to change as they have more possibilities to compare her to. So that was possible. So, excuse me. Let's go ahead over to the likely. Let's go to likely, because we're not quite the maybe with the possible. We're one step in from maybe, and likely is one step in the middle from confident. So let's look at the likely, and then let's look at the confident after that. So likely setting, we're at still predominantly Western at 57.24%. That breaks down to American Shorthair at 7.06%, Russian Blue at 5.11%, Maine Coon at 3.13%, why did I say 5.11? 5.11, tens, hundredths, Ragdoll at 2.78%, Broadly Western as a whole at 39.15%. So strange that 39.5 is Western for sure, but can't specify breed because of the pool, but they know like the makeup of those whole breeds, but nothing specific. Persian is 3.59, and then Eastern is 3.03, and Broadly Eastern again, meaning know it's Eastern but don't have a specific breed to tie it to. And then Polycat, meaning just anything and everything, 36.414. So, she's a Western cat, Americanized kitty cat, a classic tabby through and through. Well, there's tabbies everywhere, but like when you think American cat, you think tabby. I think when you think cat in general, you usually think a tabby cat, but they're so common here. So now that we know the likely, let's go ahead and see what the confident. So based on her DNA, what they know for sure at this point in time, what she is. And again, we're still strong with the Western. We have 42.1 as a whole for Western makeup, and that breaks down to American Shorthair at 5.11, Ragdoll at 2.78, Broadly Western as a whole at 34.21. So those are other breeds that haven't kind of been flushed out, but as far as her origin being Western without a specific breed, that is 34.21. And Eastern, again, is 3.03, which is Broadly Eastern, as in not a specific breed, but the localization of that kind of grouping of cat breeds. And Polycat at 54.87. Based on her Wildcat Index, all cats around the world share the same common ancestor from about 10.8 million years ago. The progressive evolution of the common ancestor eventually led to the development of 37 modern cat species. However, as the evolution progressed, bringing cats from the jungles into our homes, some domestic kittens inherited more or less DNA from particular wild relatives. Tiny differences and minimal amounts, yet this gives us a chance to better understand our cat and all cats with the help of genetics. We compared your cat's DNA to DNA of 4 wild cats, and we ranked the results based on genomic similarity. For the majority of domestic cats, these results will look very similar, as they broadly reflect the evolutionary history of domestic cats. These results should not be interpreted as evidence that your cat is part wild cat. I didn't think that was going to be the case, but I do appreciate that they make that clear. So in the 1 through 4 category, Kabu ranks 1 in line with the cheetah, 2nd with tigers, 3rd with leopards, and 4th with the cougar. And then each cat has a breakdown of glare, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it has a little bit of information about each cat, big cat, wild cat. I'm hoping we know about those cats, but just in case, a little bit of fun tidbit here. The cheetah is the world's fastest land animal, reaching speeds of over 110 kilometers an hour or 70 miles per hour in 3 seconds. With its unique anatomy, characterized by long legs, flexible spine, and slender body frame, the cheetah is very different from other cats and is the only member of its genus, Acinoix? Don't know. Today, cheetahs are found in only 9% of their historic habitat and are considered functionally extinct, with 7,100 adults in the wild. They are classified as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List, considered a protected species in Namibia, and endangered under the Endangered Species Act in the United States. So, there's that. Tigers are the largest known cat species, with males from the largest subspecies. The Amur tiger, weighing up to 660 pounds or 300 kilograms, and measuring 10 feet or 3 meters. The smallest subspecies, the Sumatran tiger, can still reach an impressive 310 pounds or 140 kilograms and 8 feet or 2.4 meters. The black stripe pattern is unique to each tiger and can serve as an identification tag. Tigers are considered critically endangered, although numbers are starting to stabilize and slowly increase in India, Nepal, Bhutan, Russia, and China. It is estimated that there are around 3,900 tigers living in the wild today. And if you watch Tiger King, I believe their statistics said that there are more tigers in captivity in America than, or maybe just in general, than there are in the wild, which is insane. Let's go on to leopards. Leopards are considered a young species, having originated around 500,000 years ago. Typically, leopards are light-colored and with dark rosette-shaped spots. Leopards are comfortable in trees and often stalk and hunt their prey by pouncing from trees. They are great swimmers and occasionally hunt fish and crabs while in the water. Leopards inhabit sub-Saharan Africa, Northeast Africa, Central Asia, India, and China. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of leopards being anywhere other than Africa. I didn't think they were in China. Or India, but I know tigers for sure, but that's interesting. However, outside of Africa, most leopard populations are considered endangered. In addition, human expansion has resulted in a loss of 66% of leopards' habitat in Africa itself. That is sad. Do I have time to cougar? Yes. Cougar, also known as a panther, puma, and mountain lion, is found across the Americas. Cougars used to be abundant in the United States, often considered a nuisance as they prey on livestock. However, since the beginning of the 20th century, the cougar population has drastically decreased in the United States as they are hunted for their fur and partially due to them being killed to protect livestock. Eastern cougars, originally found in the northeastern United States, are considered to be extinct. The Florida panther, a subspecies of cougars, is among the world's most endangered mammals. That is also sad. I'm glad that we got to read over that together because I did learn some things. I already knew big cats were not in the best of statuses as far as survival, considering how mean humans are, but that is a different video for a different day. But I'm glad that they did share a little bit of information about how Kabu and later when we talk about Koouji, how they both relate to the big wild cats of the world. So we also had some health markers here. One I was really concerned about was polycystic kidney disease, and Kabu tested negative, with the clear indicating that, where's the breakdown here? Clear, the cat is negative for the disease-associated marker. Carrier, this is just the key to break down what we would see. Carrier, the cat has one copy of an autosomal recessive disease-associated marker. At risk, the cat has one copy of a marker associated with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. A high risk is, the designation can mean one of three things. The cat has one or two copies of the marker associated with an autosomal dominant disease. The cat has two copies of a marker associated with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or the cat has two copies of an autosomal recessive disease associated marker. And then it has this important note. Not all health reports might be available initially, and more markers and results can be added over the coming weeks and even months. Stay close to your results and check often to see any new health markers and diseases added. So, right now, she's in the clear for everything that they have currently tested for, which I think is a little reassuring. It doesn't mean that she won't ever get any of these things, but it does mean that being more susceptible is not something that I have to immediately be concerned about. And then, of course, at the end, it tells you just some reminders about keeping your cat healthy, taking them to the vet, making sure they are at a healthy weight, giving them little exams at home, making sure they have good nutrition, clean water, brush their teeth. I need to take Kabu and Koouji in to the vet to get their cleanings done. And it's not even like, it's just traumatic to get them wrangled there, that it's like, I mean, you're human, you go to the dentist, maybe you like going to the dentist. I don't like it, but I have bad teeth, so I usually go and it's always something bad news, but I do like taking care of them to look nice. By the way, this lip color is making my teeth look super white. Like, isn't that nice? But in reality, I'm prone to cavities, so that's just kind of my life. But cat brushing teeth is important. I will admit I do not brush my cat's teeth. I've tried. Kabu fights me to do the DNA test. She will try to bite me to do that. So I've given up. And Koji's okay with it a little bit more, but I still don't brush his teeth. But I do have to make an appointment to get them cleaned at the vet. So feline breeds, this breaks down, you probably can't see it too well, but without the glare, but this breaks down like the little clusters of the different breeds and the maps, like little, not the map, but the kind of the visual representation of how the breeds group together. So like exotic, we have Bengal, Savannah, Egyptian Mal in this yellow bit. Persian, we have Persian, exotic short hair, British short hair, Himalayan, and those are all in this little green little cluster right here. Eastern, we have Oriental short hair, Peterbald, Burmese, Burman, and Thai Siamese, and Eastern is right here. And then Western, we have a ton. We have Ragdoll, Russian Blue, Norwegian Forest Cat, Siberian, American Short Hair, Maine Coon, Abyssinian, Turkish Van, Turkish Angora, and of course the blue right here is all of the Western ones. And then this part goes down and breaks down all of those breeds that were just mentioned, and I will not read all of that, but I will say that it's always fun to learn about cats. I love them so much. Oh yeah, if you haven't seen a Peterbald, I have seen them on cat shows before. I just forgot what they look like. He has really big ears, like bat ears. Probably can't. He's a little blurry, but you can kind of get the makeup of his face. Very, very crazy. They're so cute. Love them, love them, love them. Oh, it goes on to some more, like Egyptian Mau, Savannah, Bengal. Very cool. I don't think I read Bengal on that list. Did I read Bengal? I don't think I did. Oh no. Oh yeah, they were there. Yeah, that was the exotic. Bengal, Savannah, Egyptian Mouse. So I did see those. Okay, let's take a look at my baby boy Koouji. So yes, as I was predicting the Maine Coon fuzzy big fluffy cat, that was my guess because he's a fuzzy big cat. But let's see what the report says. So for Koouji's DNA, this one, again, The Road to Less Wild, goes on to explain the same thing as far as the breakdown of the chromosome map, the breed analysis, how cats became part of lives of humans. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of his actual makeup. So we are on the possible scale right now, and we can kind of see his chart and everything on possible, and he's also largely a Western. Western breed grouping making up 74.3% of his makeup. And this is the possible, remember. So Maine Coon is at the top with 15.74%. Russian Blue follows with 13.02%. Abyssinian at 9.63. Ragdoll at 6.7 or 6.47. Norwegian Forest Cat at 5.78. American Shorthair at 4.54. Siberian at 0.94, and broadly Western that are unidentifiable breeds but genetically similar is 18.17. And that was the breakdown of the Western group. Now exotic, we have a percentage of 7.75, and that further breaks down to Bengal being 4.18, Egyptian Mal at 2.9, and the broader grouping of exotic at 0.66. Persian as a whole is 4.54, but that breaks down smaller to that 4.54% being specifically British short hair. Eastern as a whole is 3.29, with Burman being 1.91, and Peterbald being 1.38, and then Polycat is 10.13. So let's go to the likely. Likely, still strong with the Western, that makes sense. 60.32, so it does go down about 10%. 14%, yeah, about 14% difference between possibly and likely. So Maine Coon then is 13.11, Ragdoll is 6.47, American Shorthair is 4.54, we have Abyssinian at 1.91, Russian Blue changes, it goes down then at 1.75, Norwegian Forest Cat at 1.69, Siberian at 0.94, broadly Western as a whole, 29.88. Persian, again, that British short hair that was identified earlier, is 4.54. Exotic being Bengal at 4.18, and Peterbilt for the Eastern category being 1.38 and Polycat 29.58, and that was likely. So let's go to confident. So it goes down even more, of course. Now we're at 53.88% as a Western breed. Maine Coon even smaller now, being 9.84%. Ragdoll being 6.47%. Abyssinian 1.91%. Norwegian Forest Cat 1.41%. Siberian 0.94%. Broadly Western 33.3%. British Shorthair is still 4.54%. Bengal is 4.18%, and Peterbilt is 1.38%, and Polycat then is 36.03%. So it's interesting, I should have did this for Kabu too, to look at the total of like unidentified breeds or, genetic relativity. Polycat being like that catch-all, lots of different breeds. Can't really distinguish what region. So that percentage then goes up the more confident they are in the exact breed. So the confidence of the exact breed goes down, and the larger pool of cat relativity goes up the more confident they are in those specifics. So my guess is that for Kabu too, then that's the same thing. But it's interesting to think that they both have very similar DNA, but if you think of like how cats are just moggies and mixed with everything, then of course they both would be ragdoll, they would be Maine Coon, Abyssinian, but specifically Koouji, still carrying confidence traits of Maine Coon, ragdoll, Siberian, and Norwegian Forest Cat, which are all fluffy cats. So if you think he's a long-haired cat, and he still does have those genetic makeups of long-haired cats that are typically those things, those breeds that I had mentioned, those breeds that I highlighted. So I still feel very, very good about that. Very surprised though about Kabu, but it does make sense more. But his activity level, his personality, kind of takes from those other breeds, and this is always changing as more and more people submit and participate in this effort. Then his results will become more and more fine-tuned and may even change, and maybe they'll find something else different about him. He also has the same 1, 2, 3, 4 cats lined up, being top 4 of cheetah, tiger, leopard, and cougar. His health markers also are clear for everything they've tested, which again doesn't mean that he's not going to ever get sick. It just means that his likelihood of it affecting him genetically, he's a lower risk because those markers that they've tested do not show that he is high risk or at risk or has a chromosome that makes him more susceptible to these things. Doesn't mean he's in the clear, it just means his likelihood isn't as affected by his genetics at this point for what they've tested. And of course they keep mentioning that these results do change as more testing continues, and I am pleased. So let me know what you think of Basepaws. Do you want to participate if you have a pet or pets, cats, dogs? I believe they have these for dogs too, but the market for cats, because cats are so new to the human world as far as being our domestic friends and companions, There's still so much we have to learn about them. And I think we're making headway. And if there's like a little pet project or fun thing I can do to learn more about my cats, then I'm down, because I'm one of those people who want to indulge in, things that are kind of frivolous, but at the same time beneficial, because then I can know more about my cat. And they, Kabu and Koouji, are my family. I love them. I know you aren't supposed to humanize animals, but they are like little humans to me, and are very much strong members of the household with their own thoughts and opinions on things, and we love them dearly. And I'm so glad that I could just find out a little bit more about them. Now I have to do it for myself, because obviously, looking at me on the outside, I am a Black woman, but I do know that I have Native American ancestry, because my great grandfather on my mother's side is Cherokee tribe, Native American, and that's all I know. But I don't know if I have any other tribe heritage, if I have any white ancestry, if I have any other origin besides, the motherland where everybody originated from. But stuff like that. So it's like, if I can do it for my cats, I could probably do it for myself too, and just learn more about my own ancestry and genetic makeup and different things like that. But for cats, it's fun, and I hope you enjoyed learning about Koouji and Kabu as much as I did. And let me know if you have done testing like this yourself for your cats or dogs, or if you plan to, now that you've kind of gotten some more information about my experience with Basepaws. I'm excited to keep checking in on the results to see what more I can learn about them. But for right now, at least with Koouji, thinking about what I knew about cats, I'm glad that I was sort of right. Maybe not the percentages I was expecting, but as they're going to continue to add more to this database, these numbers may change. We might discover some more breeds that he is in relation to, and those percentages, of course, will fluctuate, and then I'll find out more about his genetic markers as well, so that I can keep an eye on his health and make sure that he lives a long life. Kabu as well. I just speak more about Koouji because he was more of like the obvious for me to guess what his genetic makeup could be. But Kabu was very much a curveball, but it makes sense now that I've looked at the data, and it's like, okay, I get it. So yeah, that's the end of this video. It was a long one as the one back, but stay tuned for more. I am back into my schedule, so not to worry. You'll be seeing me around a lot more. So with that, thank you so much for sticking around, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!